Rob Lowe, what's good? I'm in a Hyundai Santa Fe, and I'm about to reach 200,000 miles. And I am very pleased with myself for purchasing this car. $199,990 miles. And this was one of the best moves I made by purchasing this vehicle. You know, this vehicle, I bought it at an auction for $6,600, and it was over 100,000 miles on the car. I think it was 109 to be exact. So I have not put the 200,000 miles on this vehicle alone. I am the third. Was I? Yeah, I'm the third. No, I'm the. Yeah, I'm the third owner of this vehicle. And you know, I just needed a vehicle that I didn't have to be in the shop every freaking month. You know, I did the Mercedes-Benz a few times, and I always was in the shop. And then I did the smart car for about 7 years, but those things only make it 150,000 miles, and that's it. You're gonna have to, you know, change the computer out, a lot of different things. So this is a milestone for me. This has been a milestone, and I'm bringing you along for the 200,000 mile on my on my Hyundai Santa Fe. There we go. Who saw the versus battle? Oh my God. Jada Kiss is now he's definitely in the top 5. I moved him from like 25 to number 2 on my top 20 or my top 5. He's in the top 5. That's the fact. And I have to say, I think he's bumped. He had to, you know, I have to bump what's his name out of there, out of my top 5. I have to bump I can't remember his name, so he definitely got to get out of there. Oh man. What else is going on? Hey yo, if you're still listening, Rob Lowe, that was a great comment. Not a comment, that was a great segment you did on the Star Report. Fire. Fire, fire, fire. Yeah, you was on for like at least 8 minutes. So I was very impressed with what you had to say. And every time you touch that platform, you always dropping major jewels. You got to come more often. Yeah, car's running great, even though one of the reasons for the car running so well is that I try my best to maintain it. Thanks, Big Elvis. Appreciate that. Yeah, man, that was a fire freaking segment. I mean, you had the best in the whole show, honestly. And Ronnie, she refused to apologize and was straight dead wrong. And it was just like, wow. But you know what? You know, she's worked. She has a formula, and she's taking cues from stars, so I can't be mad at her. Yeah, let me reset my trip here. It's a little distracting. Ah, damn. Every bump is gonna just keep bumping. There we go. Almost there. Almost 200,000 miles on a Hyundai Santa Fe. Not a Toyota Land Highlander, a Hyundai Santa Fe. So there is a trick to getting your Hyundai Santa Fe to last this long, and I learned the trick from Jay Leno. I watched almost all of the Jay Leno garages, and before Jay Leno was on the Jay Leno garage on YouTube, I think he had something on like CNBC, but he had stuff out way even before that, when it was just like online. He used to be part of this guy, I think it's called This Old Car, and This Old Car, he had a website, so you have to log into the website, and then Jay Leno would be on many times. So this is like, we're talking about pre-2007, and Jay Leno said that if you change your oil to your vehicle every 1,500 miles, there is no vehicle that will not last. He says the rest of the car will fall apart around that vehicle. He said it's the oil and the way the heat responds. So if the heat keeps you having issues with heat, it'll make the hoses all messed up, make things brittle. He says, but if you do a 1,500 mile oil change, he says you can get, he says the most, you know, basically any car will benefit from this. So I took that into consideration, and I decided to, I do every 2,000 miles on this Hyundai Santa Fe. So I never really get to the 2,000 mile mark. I usually pass that by like 2,200, 2,500, sometimes 2,600, but I'm under 3,000 mile oil changes for this vehicle. And it's paid off, because as you can see, riding with me now, this Hyundai Santa Fe will be making its 200,000 mark. Okay? And full disclosure, this Hyundai Santa Fe, I did put in a new transmission after only having the car for 20,000 miles. And I did redo the all-wheel drive. The new transmission, because this is a CVT transmission, which is not a standardized transmission. It's look at that. Boom. Look at that. I'm so happy. I mean, I am super duper happy right now. 199,999 miles. 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 199,9 in a Hyundai Santa Fe. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. It's about to happen. A milestone for the Hyundai Santa Fe. 2011 Hyundai Santa Fe. Right now. No. Oh my goodness. Bam! Oh my God, I'm so happy. It's like the best $6,600 I ever spent. $6,600 with a sunroof and leather. And when I did the transmission, it was only $1,940. And when I did the all-wheel drive, it was another like $1,800. And then I bought new tires for the car. That was $500. I had that was about it. I put new lights in the front because the lights in the front were all cloudy, so I added the new lights. That was like with installation like $350. But for the most part, this car has been maintenance free. You know, we're talking about, I put almost 100,000 miles for myself into this vehicle, and I only spent like $5,000 to fix it. I'm happy. 201,000 miles. That's what I'm talking about. I'm loving that. You know, like one of my best friend, right? He's a doctor, right? And you know, for privacy, we'll just call him Dr. Daniel Lewis. That's not his name, but we're gonna just say Dr. Daniel Lewis. You know, just like as like a joke for who I'm describing. And my friend, Dr. Daniel Lewis, he drives a Mercedes Benz. And when we were both coming up together, I was in the bar business, and he was like, he was staying on 136th Street in Harlem, where all the doctors that are going to school, or he was going to school to become a physician's associate. I think it was physician's assistant at the time. Then they changed it to physician's associate because, you know, words are spells and you want to get respect when you walk in a room. So you're a physician's associate opposed to an assistant. And so I remember those days when he didn't even have a car, and then I got a car, and he would borrow the car from time to time, and then he wound up getting a car. And I had at the time, I can't remember, but let's say I had a Mercedes at the time, and he had like an Acura, and he wound up getting him. Then he got rid of the Acura, and then he got a Mercedes, and then I get rid of the Mercedes. Well, I think I went through a couple of Mercedes, and he went through a couple of Mercedes too. And then I was like, the hell with all this. I remember when my steering wheel locked on me on my Mercedes, I said, I don't care. I had a tow truck take it to the dealer. The dealer calls me up. No, I had a tow truck take it to a shop. The shop says, we don't have that computer. We cannot even work on this. That's why they have all these new laws where people are trying to, the right to repair. Like these dealers are holding the software to vehicles for 15 years. So that means if I buy a Lamborghini, the Lamborghini has to be over 15 years old before I can take it to a shop that'll be able to have the software that will be able to fix or even code or know what's going on with the car. So there's this whole movement of right to repair. I know in Massachusetts, they just had a big thing where they won the right to repair because these dealers are paying millions upon millions of dollars to stop people from fixing their own cars, and they're stopping shops from being able to buy the software. And then if you try to sell the software, so let's say I go to an auction and there's a guy, maybe a guy dies and he's selling his shop, a mechanic shop. So you want to buy the lifts, you want to buy the tools, you want to buy the air compressors, you want to buy all these things, but you cannot buy the software for the Lamborghini and for the Ferrari. You can't do it because they will try to get you arrested. They will like hit you with a cease and desist, and they'll try to take your shop from you. That's how serious it is. And we're talking about software for 20-year-old, 15-year-old cars. So you got a 15-year-old car that you cannot even work on. That's like insane. So there's a huge movement. So I kind of lost track of what I was saying. Forgive me for that. It'll come back to me. Don't worry about it. You know, like you, I've taken advantage of the new decriminalization of cannabis. And prior to pressing the record, I indulged my senses in some healthy medicating. It's true, I did. And I'm very happy about that. Despite the fact that I lost a train of thought that I was in the middle of. But, you know, there's that. Oh yeah, because the steering column, you see, it was worth it because I got it back. The steering column on my Mercedes-Benz locked. They weren't able to take care of it, so they had to send the Mercedes. I had to take it to the dealer. So the dealer says, yeah, we can unlock your steering column, but it's going to be $1,500. Mind you, I had just rebuilt all the, what did I do? I did all the seals on and all the rings. They have these, Mercedes-Benz has these washers. They're not really washers, but they're gaskets. And a lot of them are metal, but they also have these rubber gaskets that only Mercedes-Benz dealers have. And these rubber gaskets, they're only like $3, $4, but you just can't get them anywhere. And they look like regular, you would be confused or you would be foolish to use these on your vehicle from like AutoZone or eBay. Well, eBay, they usually have good stuff. I do like eBay. They have the most OEM you're gonna find in a car. Whereas Amazon is just all that crap from China that everybody's selling out of their garages and stuff. And respectfully to the people that are selling out of their garages, there's no, I'm not mad at you, but you know, your products are trash for the most part, automotively. So I did all this work on the car, and then all the control arms. I had all the control arms changed. So we're talking about, I redid the control arms to the car, the sway bar to the car, did all this stuff. It was like 10 grand I spent in like 6 months on this car. And that $1,500 steering column, I just was like, I'm getting a smart car. The hell with this. And I repainted that Benz. I spent like 5 G's on the paint job. I spent way too much money. That was actually a gift given to me by a Harlem legend, the Mercedes-Benz. Because before the Mercedes-Benz, I was driving a Saab 900, and I had just came back from cross country with wifey, and I had the coolest roof rack on this damn Saab, and I put a racing bike on the top of the Saab along with wifey's cruiser bikes. I had a racer and a cruiser on the bike. Mind you, this is like 75 pounds ago. So it was very believable that I was on a racing bike. That might have been 100 pounds ago. But anyway, yo, somebody came. I had the bikes locked up to the roof rack, with the roof rack had locks. And they destroyed my whole Saab getting the damn bikes off the freaking roof rack. You know, it was just horrible. And then I found out who the person was that stole the roof rack. And they told me that the guy was getting high at a particular part of this basketball court one night. So I went over to the basketball court, and I had this huge monkey wrench from Harbor Freight, like a $40 monkey wrench, this big, huge monkey wrench. And I was pretty pissed off because this was the guy who was trying to supposedly help me find my bikes. That's why you always have to be careful. If you lose something, if you misplace something, the first person who's trying to help you, I would say 9 out of 10 times, they're the one who was, if not took your item, were involved in taking your item. And so I found out where this guy likes to hang out and shoot his heroin or whatever have you. The person who stole my bikes, allegedly. I didn't have full proof, but I had enough of the puzzle where it all added up to this is the person. And it was, the sun was just coming down. And don't worry, I'm not going to be snitching on myself or admitting to any kind of crimes, but I am going to tell the truth. And the truth is that I crept up the stairs that led to the grounds of the basketball courts. And to the left of me were all these rocks. And to the right of me was the basketball court. So I was told that he's going to be on the other side of the rocks, where he's going to be there possibly with other people. And I went over the rocks, and I flanked the rocks by going far left around the edge of the rocks. Instead of coming from the right of the rocks, would have led me directly, boom, right there to where he was. So I came in through the back. And when I was looking over at him, he was like digging in the grass. And he was like searching for something. And I stood there for a minute. And I had the wrench on my shoulder like a lumberjack, opposed to, it wasn't in a threatening manner. It wasn't, I mean, a guy walking around with a monkey wrench, you know, I didn't want to appear like I was about to swing and hit someone with it, because I did walk without 4 blocks. And my plan was to confront him and maybe hit him upside his damn head or something. But I didn't. I just looked at him scrounging through the dirt, looking for something, maybe some sort of crack vial or some sort of needle or whatever it was for his, whatever his pleasures were. And something I just looked at him, and I was just like this guy was just some drug addict. And it's like, you got these shiny bikes on the top of your car, and he just couldn't help himself. You know how some people just love that challenge? He didn't like the challenge that life gave him, and he didn't want to take life's challenges and make a better human being. So he became a freaking low-life dirtbag drug addict. So I came down the rock, and I just stood over him with the with the wrench on my shoulders, and I was just like 50 Cent said, death gotta be easy, because life is hard and leave you physically, mentally, and emotionally scarred. And I took the freaking wrench and I slammed it, bang, right against the rock. And he jumped up and he was like, man, sorry, man, it wasn't me. I didn't take the bike. I'm gonna take you to where the bikes are. I said, shut up. And I said, you see, I could have cracked you over your fucking head, man. But you know what? Just looking at you, man. And I was like, how old are you? How old are you? He was like, what? What? I said, how old are you? And he was like, 37. And I was like, 37? All right, so I turned around and I walked away. At the time, I was about 32. And I seen the guy one time with my kids. Now I have, this is like, you know, this is before the children. And now I have children. And my son one day is like, Daddy, look at that guy right there. And I says, yeah. And he's like, what happened to him? Why does he look like that? And I was like, well, let me tell you a story. And I told my son the story of the guy with, you know, that he's the one that stole my bikes. And my son was like, I didn't tell him the story about the wrench. I left the wrench part out. But I did tell my son the story of me wanting to confront the guy. And in the process of confronting him, I realized that it was me confronting the lowest form. Hit somebody upside the head, you know, you need a complaining witness. That's a fact. And I wasn't really worrying about this guy, about how easy it is for this man to just have lost his life that night, or struggled for the rest of his life from something that my hands might have put on him, or the wrench. And I said to myself, I said, you know what, man, this guy is going to destroy his own self. I don't got to do anything to him. He'll do it to himself. And now we in the future, 10, 12 years later, and I'm my son, and I'm like, yo, that guy right there stole my bikes. And look at him now. And I says, you know, son, I have to tell you that I grow pleasure in watching this man year after year get worse and worse and worse and worse. I mean, this man is a shell of what he once was. And what he once was a nobody, dirtbag, low-life SOB who now has turned that times 7, times 11. And I gain pleasure from that. I gain pleasure from watching this neighborhood thief destroy life. Sometimes you'll see him and the spit is just dribbling down his face, and he's walking like a zombie. And his arm, one month his arm will be broken, the next month his leg will be broken, and the next month he'll have a big scar on his face, the next month, you know. So his life on the streets alive has left me conscience free for not doing anything to this man, okay? Because yes, he destroyed my Saab that I went across country with wifey. He destroyed the whole top of the car, indented the whole thing. We talking about no body shop would touch it. It was like, they were like, no, you can't even replace the door. You can't replace. They were like, no, sir, this whole car is destroyed from this guy ripping the, you know, having to pry 2 bikes off of a roof rack. And if I was a better YouTuber, I would flash the pictures of the Saab, and everyone would just be like, oh man, that car was so nice. Yeah, I had a hell of a Saab. You would have thought it was straight out of a European catalog. It was so fire. But with that being said, I not only has this car made a milestone here with the 200,000 miles. Uh-oh, look, my signal light is not working. Nothing. I got nothing. That right there is called forced obsolescence. So the time when the car reaches 200,000 miles just so happened to be the same time that my signal light, look at that. No, uh-oh. My signal light is not working. My right turn light. That's funny. Let me see if it'll do for the left. Okay. The left one is blinking a little bit. Bing. Bing, bing, bing. False obsolescence. You see, these companies know. They didn't know that I was going to be changing the oil every 2,000 miles. Oh, and here's another trick. You have to change your transmission oil in these CVT transmissions every 20,000 miles. So every time your car hits 20,000 miles, you take it to a place and they're going to tell you, no, don't do it. You say, sir, I have the oil right here. Please change the oil for the transmission oil. You do that every 20,000 miles. Your transmission will not die on you. And if you change your oil, your engine won't die. But look, you don't hear anything. Let's try the other side. I'm going to go left. Nothing. And I'm looking at the reflection from the car in front of me. Nothing. Nothing. False obsolescence. False obsolescence. They purposefully put you in situations where the car is going to break down. You hear it? Let's see if you can see the reflection from in front of me. This car is so shiny in front of me. So cool. But it's the Gladiator. That thing is so trash. Alright, he left. But you get the point. You know I'm not lying. My signal light was working fine. But because it hit 200,000 miles, the computer's like, I gotta get this guy out this car. So I get another Hyundai is the question. As beautiful as these Hyundais look, Jesus, not as beautiful as she looks though. God is good. Ooh-wee. So I'm on 155th Rob Lowe. You probably know exactly where I am. But let me just say this. Let me see if it'll work now. Maybe if I turn the car off. Try to hit it now. Nothing. Nothing. No left or right turn.
Deep. Me in the G too deep. It's just me and my heat. And leap. No sorry. Full act tough, but I ain't got shit on me.
That's Yellow Wolf. I don't think I'll get a copyright strike. But forced obsolescence. Now I'm riding the car with no signal lights. Damn, I gotta go to the shop tomorrow. I'll keep you updated and let you know what's going on with that. But you've seen it in real time. Yeah, I'm on this is Broadway. I'm on Broadway now. Yeah, I'm on Broadway. I was trying to get to the West Side Highway, but the West Side Highway, the ramp going to, you have to go up the ramp that's number 7 on the Major Deegan. Exit 7 on the Major Deegan leads you to the George Washington Bridge, which also leads you to the Henry Hudson. But that's not going to work because it was too much traffic. So I went 155th Street Bridge that leads me here. Thank you. Look, no signal light. Good thing the cops are not working like that. New York City, the cops have taken a break. Like, look at this turn right here. I'm on the right-hand side. You're not allowed to make turns on the right like this. So, it's not working. My signal light is not working. False obsolescence. So this is how I'm getting to the Henry Hudson because of the traffic on the Major Deegan. And what's interesting about this turn signal is this turn signal I just had replaced because it was it just stopped like the play. It just had a it was slowly dying. So I replaced the whole entire device from Hyundai, not aftermarket. No, it's not the device, the up and down arm. It's something in the computer system. The West Side Highway is above us, and to the right is the Henry Hudson, and further right over that water is New Jersey. Oh, and every single tree here was planted. Nothing grew here on its own. But that's another story for another time. And because of COVID, they closed down all this parking right here. So people just park on these streets like this. You're not allowed to go past this car in front of us. Look at that, no signal lights. Sir, I'm in my lane. Relax. That's that V6. 0 to 60 in 7 seconds, which is a joke, but still pretty amazing. That 1972 Mark IV I have, Mark V I have, that's like 0 to 60 in about 18 seconds. But that's in storage, and that's a story for another day as well. I'll bring that out in a few years. Maybe give it to my son for high school so he can floss. I don't know. Isn't that crazy? I hit 200,000 miles in my damn blink sock. It's like, wow. Okay. 333 on your left. I don't know what 333 is. What is that? 3333 on your left. I don't know what that is. Tell me. I need to know. But everyone is appreciated for tuning in for the Milestone. Oh, and the rest of the story, I guess, with that guy is just that, you know, he's slowly living a tortured life, and by his own hands. You are appreciated. Rob Lowe, peace and blessings. Everybody else that, I think Christopher Perkins, thank you for just a few of the issues. I can't read this stuff while I'm driving. It's irresponsible, so you understand. This is the part where I say adios. Boom.